Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to discuss an ISC board practical program, prime triplets. So we are going to see what is a prime triplet. If a combination of three numbers with some difference, okay, all the three numbers are prime, then you call it as prime triplets. There are some criteria which will be discussed before going to the program. The consecutive prime numbers are known as prime triples if they satisfy the following condition. So the first condition is n plus 2, n plus 6 are all prime, or n plus 4, n plus 6 are all prime. So any one of this condition should be true. Okay, if it is true, then then you call it as a prime triplet. Okay, so I can see an example, an explanation is given using an example here. N equal to 5. Okay, then 5 plus 2 is 7, and 5 plus 6 is 11. So all these three are prime triplets, right? 5, 7 and 11 are prime triplets. Okay, because all these numbers are prime numbers. So then you have to display all these three numbers as prime triplets. You can see another example. If n equal to 7, then 7 is a prime number. 7 plus 2 equal to 9, which is not a prime number because it is divisible by 3 also. 1, 3 and 9. So it is not a prime number. 7 plus 6, 13 is a prime number, right? But one number in this sequence is not a prime number. So it not comes under prime triplet. But if you take 7 plus 4, which is 11, it is also a prime number, and 7 plus 6, 13 is a prime number. So in this case, it is a prime number. 7, 11 and 13 all are prime. So it comes under prime triplet. So this is how you are going to solve. You will have two conditions. Okay. So you are going to see n plus 2 and n plus 6, one condition. If all these three are primes, then you call it as prime triplets. Or if it contains n plus 4 and n plus 6, all these three numbers are prime numbers, then you call it as prime triplet. So you're going to see this program in BlueJ. You can see the class name which is given as prime triplets, and then you have a function which you use to find whether the given number is a prime number. So at a time you are going to accept one number as parameter. You can see int n, okay, single number as input, and then you are going to check whether that n is a prime number and returns a boolean value whether it is true. If it is a prime number, it returns true. If it is a non-prime number, it returns false. Okay, inside you got an counter variable to check whether how many number of times the number is divisible by the given number, right? So you will have a loop I equal to 1, I less than or equal to n, I plus plus, and you're inside the loop, you're going to check whether the n value is divisible by I. That is, you will see a modulus operator, percentage, okay, which will be dividing the number n by the divisor I. If it is divisible, that means if it is equal to 0, then you are going to increase the value of count, okay. So if the count value is 2, that means if it is divisible only twice, then you know that it is a prime number. It is divisible by 1 and it is divisible by itself. So then you call it as a prime number. So if the count value is 2, then you are going to return true to the called function. And if it is false, that means if it is divisible more than 2 times, then you are going to return false. So this is what you are going to see. In main function, what you are going to do is you got some variables, okay. So as per the question, they say that you have a start limit and last limit. So start limit will be stored in S and last limit will be stored in L. And here you got a count variable, okay, which is initialized to 0. Okay, it does the different part. Here it counts the number of prime triplets available and it displays the number of prime triplets. Okay, that is the reason you use this count. Okay, you may be wondering, you already have a count variable here and here. Is there any conflict? There is no conflict because the count variable used here is a local variable. Okay, so which will be used with, till this close bracket. And the count variable which is declared in main function will be working and will be used only within that main function. So if you use the same variable in two different functions, it doesn't matter. Okay, unless it is a global variable, right? Now next is you got an object creation. Okay, you created an object for the for the class prime triplets. Okay, ob is your object, and you got some scanner object also which is created, and to get the input from the user you're going to get two input. One is the start limit, okay, which is stored in s, and then you will enter the last limit which is stored in l. Now you will know what is the range of values. According to the question, it says the s value and l value should be a positive number, right? If it is a positive number, then you are going to enter into it. So before going into the loop statement, you are going to check whether the input value is a negative number or positive number. If it is a negative number, you are going to go down to the else part and then display wrong limit. Okay, if it is a positive number, then it enters into the loop statement, right? Body of the if statement, that has a loop statement which starts from s and ends with l. So I equal to s, it goes on till I less than or equal to l and I plus plus. So you are going to take the I value, and then you are going to pass it on to the prime function using the object ob. So ob dot prime, the first value I will be passed on to the prime. Okay, in prime function it stores the value which is passed on to n, and it returns true or false based on the number. Okay, and here in this if statement, you can see it is combined immediately as it returns receives the boolean value. It checks whether it is equal to true, right? If it is equal to true, then it is a prime number. Same way, you are going to call the same prime function using the next condition, that is I plus 2. Okay, according to the criteria in the question. So I plus 2 will increase the value by 2 and pass it on, and then it returns the value which is also checked whether it is equal to true. Same way, I plus 6 also is called. So you can see prime I plus 6, and it will be checked whether it is equal to true. If all the three are true, that means you can see an AND operator in between, which indicates that all the three conditions should be true. Okay, if any one of the condition is false, then it won't comes under prime triplet category. Right, you would have seen one example when 7 is used in this category. I plus 2 is 9. Okay, 7 plus 2 is 9, so which is not a prime number, so the criteria is false. Okay, this criteria becomes false. So since you use AND operator, you will not it will not enter into the if statement, and you don't print, right? So that's the reason you use AND operator here. Okay, if all the three conditions are true, it enters into the loops, that is if statement body, and it prints the I value. Okay, the slash t to move towards its right. Okay, nothing else, and then I plus 2 and I plus 6. And also you should have a counter variable which updates the counter to 1. Okay, from before it is 0, it increases the value by 1. Okay, so not only the first condition, it also checks the second condition, but there is no else part, because it can check any one of these condition. If any one of the condition is true, you can immediately print it, and you can increase the, that is update the counter count variable. So here again the same thing. So b dot prime of I, it passes the I value, it checks whether it is equal to true. Okay, and that is AND operator is used. Here you can see it is I plus 4. That is only difference between the first if statement and second if statement. So ob dot prime I plus 4 is passed on to the prime function and returns, it checks whether it is equal to true. Okay, then it is true. And then the third one is I plus 6. So all these three conditions, if it is true, because you got AND operator in between, if all the conditions are true, then it enters the if statement and it prints I and I plus 4 and I plus 6. So all these three values will be printed on the screen, and also the counter variable, the count variable will increase the value. And finally, after the loop is executed from S to L, it prints the final count. So total prime triplet combinations will be displayed on the screen. So this is what all about the program. So we are going to see the execution. So we are going to compile this program. Okay, so no syntax errors. We are going to see the output. So I'm going to execute the program. Public static void main, click OK. Now the start limit is 3. Okay, this is what given in the board exam paper. So 3 is the start limit and 10 is the last limit. So in between 3 and 10, what are the prime triplets? Okay, so you have 5, 7, 11 and 7, 11 and 13. So two combinations. We'll try another example. So the values will be from 10 to 50. So start limit is 10 and last limit is 50. So you can see five triplets combinations. So you can see 11, 13. So this is the first criteria which satisfies. But here you can see the difference is 4. That means the first criteria is wrong. So second criteria will be satisfied. So 13 and 17 it comes under second criteria. Okay, so you got five different combinations. We'll execute it again. Right. So I'm going to give the start limit as 100 and last limit as 200. So you got again five limits. Right. So this is how the program works. Suppose if I give a negative value, what happens? So if I give a negative value, okay, it can be any one negative or both can be negative. Okay, so I'm giving start limit as -5 and last limit as 30. Okay, now we can see the wrong statement, that is wrong limit, that is error statement, which will be displayed on the screen. Hope you understood this video. We'll meet you in the next video. Till then, thank you.